Greetings, hope everybody's doing all right. This is Coach Fleischer, and today we're going to talk about the other three R's, that being rest, regen, and recovery. In the previous video presentation, I went over the first R, which is refuel, and no doubt that's a very important part. And these three are equally as important. Just they're different in terms of what you're doing after your workout and what you're doing to prepare for your workout, where nutrition is the refueling of the body for a workout and after a workout. And the body itself, and we've talked about before, it's like the muscles make the movement happen, connective tissue puts everything together, whether it's you're connecting bone to bone or muscle to bone. And you also have the fascia, which is that interconnective material that runs through the entire body. The bones are the levers that the muscles act upon to make movement happen. And the organs themselves are what keep the body alive. But all of these different systems all work together as a functional unit, that being a human body. And for them to work out or to work correctly, they have to work together. And all of them adapt to the stressors of training slightly differently. And when you're going through challenging workouts and you're pushing yourself or pushing your clients, you have to give people the opportunity to recover after you place a stressor on the body. And these adaptations, it is nothing more than just the adaptation to a stressor. And these stressors in general, what we're most focused on are the muscles, right? You're actually, when you work out, breaking down the muscle, injuring them on a very microscopic scale. And you're using rest, regen, recovery, and refueling correctly to repair and then be able to have another workout thereafter. And the idea of continually crushing yourself over and over and over again and not allowing the body to recover is just nonsense. And with strength gains, you have this adaptation of the breaking down of the muscle tissue through that microtrauma, and it's the food, the refueling, that allows for the recovery and the healing of that. There's a window of opportunity post-workout where your body's craving carbohydrates and you need glycogen to refuel the body. And then there's a window of opportunity after that, about 45 minutes later to about an hour later, where your body is craving protein to break or to heal the muscle fibers that were broken down. So really what we're focusing on, at least with this class, are the muscles, but there are different systems that all work together. This will be mostly about muscle and connective tissue. So with rest, regen, recovery, you can break this out into a particular microcycle, micro being small cycle, a small unit of time, mesocycle or macrocycle, big picture. So when you look at like a microcycle, even within the context of a workout, you can change your recovery time between sets. I talked before when we were talking about aerobic versus anaerobic and you're doing sprint work. You can change your work-rest ratio. You can sprint 10 yards, rest 10 seconds, or sprint 10 yards and rest 30 seconds. That is a different work-rest or work-recovery ratio. And so you can change your workouts to change the recovery time to allow for better recovery. And then you can, if you wanted to, have like active recovery in between sets. A good example of this would be, say, a multi-joint exercise like a bench press, and then you do maybe a medicine ball torso twist where you're throwing a ball into the wall. You're not specifically working the chest, but your chest is going through a range of motion to help bring blood and circulate blood through the entire human organism to help flush out toxins and prepare you for your next set. Another example would be doing that bench press and then flipping over right on the floor and doing a push-up. Now that would be pretty taxing, no doubt about it, but that is another tool that you can use, and that will definitely flush out or bring nutrients and also flush out the chest. But it's also very fatiguing, so you're going to have some type of recovery in between that grouping. So I like to use exercise where I pair things together, where if I'm working one, I then work another muscle group or exercise after that, and I'll work antagonistic muscle groups just for this component, where if I'm doing a bicep curl and then I turn around to a tricep push down, we know the elbow is flexing, extending, And we know that every time I flex one, I have to relax the other. So as I'm contracting my bicep, my tricep has to relax. So you know you get a flushing effect in the tricep to help clear out waste product and help to recover faster. Many different ways you can do this though, many. And then when you look in a bigger stage, like a mesocycle, right, over the course of a month, you could be a little different in terms of, okay, you could have a week where you do just active recovery, where you're doing strength training, strength training, strength training, then active recovery. Then you go into the next month, strength training, strength training, strength training, active recovery. A download week is where you deliberately reduce the volume or reduce the intensity to allow recovery. So now think back to a couple presentations where we're talking about tonnage. Really what you're doing here when you decrease the volume and or the intensity is you're reducing the overall tonnage, that stressor that you're placing on the body, how much is being moved during a particular workout window. Other more advanced program design techniques include undulating the rep and set combinations and undulating the percentages that you have your clients work at over time. And quite frankly, like another example would be like I've had clients where we go ahead and focus on, say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, more cardio oriented, Tuesday, Thursday, strength oriented. Then the next month we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, strength oriented, and then Tuesday, Thursday, cardio. And then the month after that, it becomes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, cardio oriented, Tuesday, Thursday, strength oriented. So you can flip flop those around 2 months at a time, 1 month at a time. Your body will never figure that out, but it's a real easy way to change kind of the macro components to a program and really get great results, keep the person, their body guessing, and be able to get some results and really minimize overtraining. I put these up here for your review, but myofascial release, where you're doing foam rolling. Oftentimes I see people get in, their IT bands are sore as hell, I'm gonna roll my IT bands. And use caution when you use these types of modalities, these types of tools, because there are times where you'll see clients do too much of it and actually it becomes an inflammation session as opposed to a recovery session. Dynamic and static stretching. Right now you're showing static stretching right here. Great tools to work on flexibility. I like dynamic actually a little bit more than static, just for the sake that there's movement involved, so you have a bit of an increase of blood flow. But no doubt static stretching has its place. And then massage therapy, do your body some good, have somebody work that soft tissue and kind of work on you to be able to help release some stuff. You're placing all this stress on your body. At some point, your body just needs a way to kind of like release and let that stress go. Massage therapists, good ones, good massage therapists are worth their weight. I'm telling you, they're wonderful, wonderful people to have involved in your workout programs if you can afford it. Other more simple things that you can do on your own would be like the dog up on top here, ice baths, right? You go ahead and hop in the tub and throw a bucket of ice in there. I remember when I was running track in college, I would go and we'd do our training for 400, and it was like we'd go to a 2-mile warm-up, do a bunch of intervals, and do a 2-mile cool down. I would eat, stop by the training room, get a bag of ice, fill my bathtub, have a ski hat on. I'd hop in the dang bathtub at home and just ice my legs down because we were running so much. Really simple. Contrast showers. You're in the shower, you have hot water, so you have a vasodilator, so the vascular system dilates. And you switch it to cold, the vascular system constricts. You repeat, dilate, constrict, dilate, constrict. It's like doing contrast hot tubs. It's the same thing. It's pretty darn close. It's not as effective as hot tubs, but in a pinch, if you don't have a hot tub in your house and a cold tub at your house or access to them, you can do contrast showers and you'll get a pretty similar effect in terms of that vasodilation and vasoconstriction to be able to have kind of like this constrict, relax, flushing effect in the muscles. And I say this jokingly, but make sure you get enough sleep. Talking to the population I'm talking to, I'm advocating you get more sleep, and usually most people would say, students don't need to sleep more, they need to work more. But sleep is where the body heals itself. It's where we recover. So definitely get the proper amount of sleep for your age, and then get in line with having a good and solid, healthy food plan. That is the other R that's crucial to this whole process. So rest, regen, recovery, and refuel. Those will be the keys, especially if you're pushing yourself kind of along that edge where you're pushing yourself on that edge between being properly trained and overtrained, and it's appropriate to push beyond once in a while. If you are imbalanced with your 4Rs, you can push beyond that barrier and go into slightly overtrained and allow your body to overcompensate later on. Totally fine, totally appropriate, but the 4Rs are key to that process to be able to allow a person to fully recover from the rigors of training. Guys, have a great one. I'm signing off. I'll catch you in the next presentation.